Hello everyone, my name is Ali Hassan. This is an introductory video of MERN Stack course related to web application development. We will start this course from very basic level and take it to professional level. So if you are new to web application development, you do not need to worry as we will be starting this course from very basic level. We will build web applications with code samples in this course and try to complete all the necessary topics one should learn for web application development. This course is designed keeping MERN Stack in mind, and this course has total 4 sections. The first section is about HTML and CSS. We will be using HTML and CSS for website building. There will not be any server involved in this section. We will have a look on the basics of HTML and CSS, then how to design layout of any web page, how to build responsive pages, and how to handle animations in CSS, and lastly, what is Bootstrap. In section 2, we will have an introduction of JavaScript. Then we will set up environment for JavaScript applications. Environment setup means that what tools, IDEs, and extensions we will use and install to enhance our productivity. Then we will see how to deploy HTML pages on Heroku. Then we will have a look on event binding. Event binding in JavaScript means how to build buttons or controls on web pages against JavaScript. Then we will build a complete to-do application in which content will be added, deleted, or updated. Then we will have an introduction of jQuery. And lastly, I have created a fake RESTful API using jQuery. We will send and receive AJAX calls, and we will display their data. We will build a complete to-do application using RESTful API in jQuery. The code will also be available. In section 3, we will have an introduction of Node. First, we will have a look on advanced features and enhancements of JavaScript. What is JSON? Handling of arrays, and what are arrow functions? Then what is synchronous and asynchronous code execution in JavaScript? Then we will see what is Node Package Manager. And lastly, we will build a basic RESTful API with Express without any database first. Express is basically a framework of Node. Then we will have an introduction of MongoDB. MongoDB is known relational database. MongoDB relationships using Mongos. We will see what is Mongos. We will handle server-side rendering with session authentication. If you would like to send complete page with session authentication from server side, you will see how you can do it. Then we will enhance RESTful API using MongoDB. And lastly, we will have a look on RESTful API authentication and authorization. Then there comes our section 4. We will have an introduction of React. What are the components of React? We will build a complete single page web application using React, in which we will see how to handle routing, how to handle forms, authentication and authorization, and lastly, how to deploy this application on Heroku. First of all, we will take an overview of technology, why we are choosing MERN Stack, where these technologies like MongoDB, Express, Node, React, jQuery fits. At very basic, I am assuming that you are new to web application development, and let's suppose you type a web address and press enter. A page opens in front of you in browser, and the browser understands 3 languages that are HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The combination of these 3 language codes creates a web application which opens in browser. Let's see what are the responsibilities of these 3 languages. First of all, there comes HTML. HTML is a declarative language, which means that there will not be any variables, functions, or classes in HTML. We can only structurize our content by telling the browser that this content belongs to heading 1, heading 2, this is a paragraph, this is a table. We structurize our content in HTML using code. It is the responsibility of HTML to structurize our content. Then there comes beautification of the content. Although it can be done in HTML, but we can have a separate language for beautification, which is called CSS. It is also a declarative language like HTML, which means there will not be any variables, functions, or classes in it. It cannot perform any functionality. We can only make our content beautiful with CSS by changing colors, adding borders, changing backgrounds, etc. The responsibility of CSS is beautification of the content. By using these two languages, we adjust look and feel of our web application. Our third language is JavaScript. JavaScript brings behavior in our web pages. Behavior means by clicking a button, you can bring changes in a web page. For example, you would like to add, delete, or modify a content, change a color, or bring any kind of change in a web page. Then this cannot be done using HTML or CSS, as both are declarative languages, but this can be done using JavaScript. We can have variables, functions, and classes in JavaScript. JavaScript can send AJAX calls, and later on we will study what are AJAX calls in our lectures. For example, in your Facebook, you click like button, and if there is any modification in your page after clicking the like button, then this is due to the JavaScript. These are the three languages which can combine to build a web page. If you are making this web page on local drive and you double click on the file, it will open in browser. But to make your page accessible for the whole world or to appear on internet, we need a web server. A web server is a computer software and underlying hardware that uses HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol along with other protocols to respond to client requests over the World Wide Web. The main job of web server is to display content through storing, processing, and delivering web pages to users. For example, you type a web address facebook.com, the request will go to the web server, and then the web server provide HTML, CSS to our browser, and then the browser will visualize the HTML, CSS to us. There are two types of web pages, static and dynamic. A static web page only contains fixed content, and building static pages can be easily done in plain HTML and CSS. The only way a user can interact with static page is by clicking hyperlinks and filling in forms, while dynamic pages are ultimately based on HTML, CSS, and server-side languages to make them functional. HTML is used to create basic design elements, while server-side languages are used to manage events and control actions that may occur on dynamic page. The server-side languages are PHP, ASP.NET, Python, JavaScript. JavaScript can work in the form of Node on server side. You need to choose one server-side programming language to become a full-stack developer. If we talk about client-side techniques, writing HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code is time-consuming. So we need rendering engines to enhance our productivity. To enhance HTML code generation, we have rendering engines like Blade and Pug. Blade works with Laravel and Pug works with Express. Other than that, we can enhance CSS code generation, and for that we have different CSS libraries like Bootstrap, Bulma, and Foundation. We can even handle cross-browser compatibility issues. You need to learn one of the library to become a full-stack developer. Then, to rapid JS code generation, we have jQuery, Angular, and React. We need to maintain data as well, as all of our web applications are linked to database. Our database will be on server as well. We can take MySQL Postgre, MongoDB, or we can build applications with MySQL. You need to learn one of them to handle your database on server. If we go further ahead on server side, we have different languages. To rapid the code generation of these languages and to enhance development, we need frameworks. Frameworks help out in maintaining basic code structure, like Laravel is a framework of PHP. If we code in Laravel, the code generation will be fast and we can have better grip on our code. MVC is a framework of ASP.NET, Django is a framework of Python, Express is a framework of Node. You need to learn at least one to become a full stack developer. We will learn and take these identified techniques for our full course from this section. From server side, we will learn Express, which is a framework of Node. We will select MongoDB from database. We will select Bug from HTML rendering. We will learn Bootstrap from CSS libraries, and we will select jQuery and React from JavaScript to enhance our JavaScript code. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are total 9 different techniques we will learn in this full course. All these techniques combine to form MERN Stack, and we call this full stack as MERN Stack. M from MongoDB, E from Express, which is a framework of Node, R from React, which is a framework of JavaScript, and N from Node, which is a server-side language. I hope you will have a good grip on MERN Stack after this full course. Thank you.